Hey guys, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. I'm trying to get some more content on this channel. I don't have that many videos yet. So I thought I would talk about some final thoughts on the Shark marathon of shark films that I did, which if you follow the Galluzzo Reviews Facebook, I watched 12 shark films and put up mini reviews for them. And that was fun to do. And the reason I decided to do that marathon is because of the new movie called The Meg with Jason Statham, which I saw, really enjoyed, and decided I haven't really seen a lot of shark films aside from Jaws and Deep Blue Sea. So I decided to take that time after seeing The Meg in the second half of August to go track down some shark films. I don't have a lot of them. Of course, I have the classic Jaws, but I had never seen the Jaws sequels. I'd never seen a bunch of other shark films. I did see a lot of them on Amazon Prime and Netflix. So rather than have to try to track down a bunch of these more obscure shark films, I could stream them on those sites, and that's what I did. So just to recap the ones I watched, of course, Jaws, classic. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I've only seen it maybe once or twice ever in life. Just not really a movie I ever watched growing up for whatever reason. But watching it again, it is a classic. It's great. Spielberg, top of his game. The cast is great. The John Williams music. I forgot how awesome the finale is with the shark attacking the boat. Just the whole movie is great. As I said in my review, maybe trim 5-10 minutes when they're on the boat in the second half. Other than that, it's perfect. Definitely the best shark film of all time still, even though it's from 1975. Then I watched Jaws 2, which was fine. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but at least it had Roy Scheider, who was the best actor in this one. He's back in the second one. Has some suspenseful moments, good finale, but overall, just okay. But the best of the Jaws sequels, definitely. So it was fine. Jaws 3, I really didn't like. It was at SeaWorld and the sharks there, and that should be a really fun premise, and it wasn't. The dialogue was bad, the effects were bad, even for back then. It was in 3D back then, but they were so focused on those 3D effects that the whole rest of the movie, there's just nothing to it. So, didn't really like Jaws 3. I wanted to, because it's such an interesting idea. Jaws the Revenge, which is the fourth one, wasn't much better. It reminded me of just a slasher film. Like a Freddy or Jason slasher film, but with the shark. It has a young Michael Caine, who didn't really need to be there, but he's kind of entertaining. It had some okay gore. It was okay. The photography was good. I liked it better than the third one. But for the most part, I wasn't missing much with the Jaws sequels. However, I am glad that I finally saw them. This was a good opportunity to see them. So after I finished with those, they were on Amazon Prime. One shark movie I have always enjoyed and that I do own, and is one of the best ones, this one, Deep Blue Sea. I saw this way back when it came out in 1999, thought it was great. Didn't see it again for a while. I found this a couple years ago, watched it again, still awesome, and watched it again for this marathon I did. Great way to follow up the really disappointing Jaws sequels, bounce back with a great movie like this. It's just a big budget B movie, great special effects, great action scenes. I like the cast. Thomas Jane, who was the Punisher in the 2004 movie, Samuel L. Jackson, and his death scene is great. So it's an older DVD. It's one of these cardboard flip cases. And it's directed by the guy that did Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2. So this is a very solid one. It's a combination of action, sci-fi, horror, really mean sharks, great cast, great gore. So this is probably my second favorite shark film. Really good one, Deep Blue Sea. And I know there is a sequel that just came out this year. I just refuse to see it because it looks like a remake, but with no actors I care about. So I didn't even bother watching the sequel. I'd rather at least watch the Jaws sequels than the sequel to this. So after this, I watched this movie called Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, which caught my attention because it has Megalodon in the title, and it's about a Megalodon, just like The Meg. And I haven't seen Shark Attack 1 and 2, don't really care to, but it just looked interesting. It has this actor from Arrow, John Barrowman. He was younger then, so I thought that seemed interesting. It was definitely a B movie all the way, straight to video. It has decent gore, some very laughably bad dialogue and bizarre dialogue. But I was entertained by it. I was entertained by it more than Jaws 3 and 4. I didn't feel like I needed to see Shark Attack 1 and 2, because I didn't. And it was pretty enjoyable for what it was. It had some funny one-liners, unintentionally and intentionally. And I'm glad that that was on Amazon Prime, because I never would have probably bought that one. And then I watched the first Sharknado, which I felt like I had to include that. I've heard so much about it, and it was just what I thought it would be, a sci-fi movie, campy, cheesy, basically comedy. Didn't watch the Sharknado sequels because, again, I just didn't see the point. It's going to be overkill. But Sharknado had some good humor. Had John Hurd, who's no longer with us, sadly, but he's the dad from Home Alone. He was there. He's the best actor in the movie, and he had my favorite scene in the movie, hitting a shark in the face with a bar stool. So I thought that was cool. So Sharknado, it was fun to see that one, but again, I'd probably never watch it again, and I wouldn't say it's one of the best shark films or anything. And the next film I watched after that, I saw for like $2 at the store while I was in the midst of this marathon, and I thought, why not? Because I've kind of heard about it over the years. Shark Night, from the guy that did Final Destination and Snakes on a Plane. And the cover looks cool, looks like a horror, bloody horror film. Well, first red flag to me when I looked at the box when I got home, it's PG-13, which isn't a huge problem. I mean, I'm not one to get hung up on ratings, but you have a cover like this, and the plot summary sounds very twisted, and it's PG-13 for some reason. And watching it, it seems like an R anyway, but it's just weird that. And then in theaters, this was in 3D. So there are some cool shots of sharks jumping out at you, jumping out of a lake. But the shark angle is not played up very well. There's these human villains who, are doing most of the terrorizing. The shark thing is kind of just an afterthought. It's kind of like a, Rob Zombie type psycho movie mixed with sharks. And the cast has nobody I care about, nobody I recognize. So overall, I was very disappointed with this movie. I'm kind of sorry I bought it, but it was so cheap. I'll just keep it, But, yeah, definitely one of the worst shark films that I watched. Not really impressed with it at all. And then I watched a movie called 47 Meters Down, which is about two sisters who are trapped in a shark cage at the bottom of the ocean. and it's more in the genre of survival thriller. There's these great white sharks overhead, they can't get to the top, all these crises keep happening, and I thought it was pretty good. Pretty well acted, good underwater photography, decent effects on the sharks. It was only about 80-something minutes. It kept me engrossed. It was one of those movies that's very like stressful or nerve-wracking because it's survival, and I thought it was pretty good. I know they're making a sequel next year. I'll probably check that out, but I thought for a last-minute addition that I had found near the end when I was almost done watching these, I added that one to the list, and I'm glad I did. It was a good movie. But one of the best movies that I watched, that I bought beforehand, is this one, The Shallows, with Blake Lively. And she's an actress that I don't have any problem with. I wish she was in more movies. I wish she got more roles. Because this movie is the proof that she can carry a movie. It's 90% just her. She's stranded on this rock face 200 yards from the shore, and there's a shark circling around that she has to use her wits to somehow defeat and get back to land. And it's one of those movies like I Am Legend or Castaway, when it's just one lone actor for most of the movie, and she nails it. She gets all the emotions. She has moments where she's crying, moments where she's intense, moments where she's in pain, and so on. And the shark is very vicious. The shark looks great. I mean, this shark gives the Jaws shark some competition. And again, another one that's PG-13, but still pretty intense, pretty gritty, pretty realistic. So, this is one I did see when it came out, but I saw it and decided to buy it because I knew I was going to be watching these. Very glad to own this. This is probably my third favorite shark film after Jaws and Deep Blue Sea. And that's kind of why, like I said, I don't own too many shark movies. I just kind of own the ones that I like the most, except for Shark Night, which I didn't really like. And then the other shark movie that started all this craze for me was The Meg with Jason Statham, which I have a review up on Facebook for, as well as all of these I have reviewed in print form on Facebook. I put up mini reviews for them. And The Meg was very fun. Jason Statham versus a giant megalodon shark with 2018 effects, so the shark actually looks good. Lots of adventure. It's more like an adventure monster movie, not really a horror movie. It's more like a sci-fi, more like Deep Blue Sea, which is more up my alley. And I loved it. It was just what was advertised. It was great. I'll definitely buy it, and I'd say that's probably my fourth favorite shark film, The Meg. So I have a review up for that also. It's currently out in theaters. I think I'm going to see it again now that I have all these as a background. And I basically was trying to just watch a good range of movies with these. I tried to watch, the Jaws series, which is kind of like classics, that I'd never seen before. Stuff like this, that was more like sci-fi. Stuff like this, I was trying to get some more horror angle. And then ones like this and 47 Meters Down, which were survival, realistic survival shark films. So, and then stuff like Sharknado, over the top. So I tried to just watch a good combination of a couple of samplings of each type of shark film. So definitely, I would say it was a fun marathon to do. It took me about a week and a half, but after I see The Meg again in theaters, I've probably had my fill of sharks for a while. But again, these are probably my top 3 shark films: Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, and The Shallows. And then followed by that would be The Meg. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to hear further thoughts and further reviews on these, check out the Galluzzo Reviews Facebook. And we will catch you next time on the next video. See ya.